Well, hello guys, it is that time once again for another edition of Odds and Ends, where I read you some really weird news stories from all over the world, and hey, they don't call it Odds and Ends for a reason, you know? Now, I apologize for this being very late, but I've been busy with work and, all this other ish going on. So, I have it here, just get it over with, and, yeah, so, let's begin. Our first story comes out of Australia, where police in Northern Territory have decided not to ticket a drunk man who set off fireworks in his own buttocks, saying he has, quote, suffered enough. Alex Bowden, 23, of Waggaman, a suburb of Darwin, told police he was showing some friends from Queensland, quote, a Territory good time, on the weekend of July 28th. Naturally, this consisted of beer and illegal fireworks. As the festivities progressed, quote, I put one in my arse, Bowden told the NT News. The cardboard-winged, quote, flying bee exploded between Bowman's cheeks. He spent several weeks recovering in the Royal Darwin Hospital. Earlier this month, Acting Senior Sergeant Crispin Gargan confirmed that Mr. Bowden will not face the usual $282 fine for contraband explosives. Quote, we believe he has suffered enough in relation to firecrackers, Gargan said in a statement. Quote, he has learnt his lesson and was given a caution. At the time of the incident, Bowden told the newspaper his mother thought it was funny. Plus he added, quote, it didn't burn my balls or my back. Okay, dude, let's break this down. We all know that if you were to stick a firework up your ass, it's going to explode and someone's going to get hurt, mainly the guy who put it up his butt. But people do it all the time and they all get hurt and they don't learn from this. But hey, you're lucky that you didn't have to pay the fine on top of your, recovery, but I'm pretty sure your hospital bill is going to be more than this fine, so you got lucky and you got screwed at the same time. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Moving on, our next story comes out of France, where the original condom company, makers of the world's, quote, first luxury condom with a French touch, has been fined 10,000 euros, or $12,600 in American currency, over false claims that their product hails from the French town of Condom. The company, which sells 1, 2, or 3 packs of condoms in elegant black and gold jewelry boxes, advertises itself as being headquartered, quote, in the town of Condom in the south of France. However, a court in the city of Bordeaux has demanded that the firm remove references to the town from its advertising. Although the owners of the company are French, the prophylactics are made in Malaysia. In fact, the small town of Condom has no connection to contraceptive devices. The French use the word preservative, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, rather than the word condom. That hasn't stopped English-speaking tourists from snapping pictures of the town's main sign. Quote, we're not going to hide our heads in the sand. We won't prevent people from making a link with the name, but retreating into such notary can only compromise the tourism qualities of the town. Condom Mayor Bernard Giraldo told Reuters. Okay, you can see why condom and condom doesn't really go together, and if you claim that it's made in the town of Condom and people take that the wrong way, this is what happens. You get fined, and then you're going to have to try to apologize, and you're going to have to, work things out to make sure everybody's all not butthurt and whatnot, and then you have tourists who are coming to this place because tourists come, which brings money, which brings more boost to the economy, and yeah, it's better for the town and the country of France. So yeah, kind of a win-lose, in-between type of ordeal. I really don't know how to really put my finger on that one. But moving on, our next story comes out of Florida, where 2 teenagers came up with what they thought was the crime of the century. Unfortunately for them, it was anything but. Police in Port St. Lucie say 17-year-old Brandon Rhodes entered a Walmart store around 3 a.m. on Monday, September 3rd. According to the police report, Rhodes had a, quote, gun in a holster on his hip and, quote, quickly opened and closed his wallet, flashed what looked like a badge at the store's manager. Claiming to be an undercover cop, the teen then approached an unnamed 14-year-old cohort and, quote, placed handcuffs on him. Rhodes told the manager he had spotted the boy shoplifting 4 packs of Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading cards. The duo then marched out of the store, parentheses, with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Suspicious, store manager Laura Daughtry followed the alleged cop and robber into the parking lot. There she watched Rhodes unlock the handcuffs. When Rhodes and his accomplice realized they were being watched, they tried to run away. Cops captured the criminal geniuses as they ran through a parking complex nearby. Rhodes was carrying a, quote, black bifold wallet with a badge and, quote, a set of toy handcuffs, quote, with silver in color. Police also found a pellet gun that Rhodes tossed while being chased. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, worth an estimated $20, were successfully recovered and returned to the store. The 2 suspects admitted to planning the, quote, fake arrest in order to, quote, not get caught. Rhodes was charged with impersonating a police officer and resisting an officer. The 14-year-old was charged with retail theft and resisting an officer. Okay, let's break this down. You're pretending to play cops and robbers. You're 17 and you're 14. You don't even look like you could be an undercover cop. Cops usually don't take enlistments. They don't enroll people until they're the age of 21. Yeah, so that's a dead giveaway, number 1. Number 2, if you're being watched, you better know that it's going to happen sooner or later. 3, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Really? I used to play that all the time, honestly, but I kind of got out of that, though, but to me it's just getting worse and worse and worse, though, but people are stupid, and you thought you were going to get away with it. Ha! You're going to get caught by the cops, and look what you're getting charged with, and I doubt you're not going to be even getting bailed out of jail, and all the fines that you have to pay, and your 14-year-old accomplice, so way to go, geniuses, way to go. And our final story also comes out of Florida, where teenager Mark Welch had a bad dream. Then he did what any smart thinking person high on synthetic marijuana would do. He called 911. According to Volusia County Sheriff's Office new release, the 18-year-old phoned emergency services at around 7 p.m. on Sunday, September 2nd. Quote, everything that happened today is actually a dream, and I want to prove it to everybody. The frantic teen told the dispatcher, quote, what did you dream about that's happening? The dispatcher is heard to ask on the 911 recording. Quote, it's all on paper. Welch informed the dispatcher, quote, I wrote it down. Officers were sent to Welch's residence in Orange City. When they arrived, Welch admitted to smoking K2, a synthetic marijuana. After determining the caller was not in need of medical attention, a deputy informed him he would be arrested if he called 911 again. According to the police report, the man's parents hid the phone so he would not bother officers again. Undeterred, the mad dreamer escaped to a neighbor's house and dialed 911 just 40 minutes later. Quote, the officer told me not to call back, Welch said. Quote, and he said if I called back, then y'all were going to take me to court, so I'm calling back. Deputies returned and arrested Welch for misuse of the 911 system. No word on what exactly Welch was dreaming about. Okay, you have a dream. You're high on synthetic marijuana. You call 911. Bad combination, dude. Bad combination. You're high on synthetic marijuana. You call the cops. You could have gotten arrested right then and there, but you're lucky they let you off with a warning. But you decided to call them back 40 minutes later, and look what happens. You went to jail. Smart thinking while you're high on a synthetic drug. Smart thinking. Of course, I'm exaggerating on that last part, but anyways, guys, that is it for this edition of Odds and Ends, and I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to those stories as much as I like reading them to you. And we will see you next time for another edition. Until next time, we will see you guys later.